Good afternoon and welcome. My name is Andy Campbell and this is 12.5 minutes, your weekly hit of hope, information and inspiration brought to you by Elevator, one of Scotland's leading entrepreneurial and business support organisations. We are broadcasting live, as always, every Friday at 3 p.m. and we go out on Facebook, YouTube and LinkedIn as well. So if you've got any comments or any questions, please make sure you drop them in your feed. Discovery. Discovery is a fantastic word that we absolutely love at Elevator, and whether it's on Land Rovers or space shuttles, the word discovery really does encapsulate that human condition. Searching, exploring, finding, driving forward to discover new things. And as I mentioned at Elevator, we embrace the spirit of discovery. We run accelerator programs that last 12 weeks. And the first 4 weeks of that accelerator program is called the discovery phase. And what we ask our founders to do is go out there and explore, go out there and search, go out there and find. Speak to people, gather information, and discover what opportunities are out there for them. And when you put that really solid foundation into your business, you're able to build a successful enterprise on top of that really important phase of discovery. And for an entrepreneur, it takes a certain amount of drive. It takes a certain amount of determination to go out into the marketplace and discover. So I'm delighted that we are joined by today's guest who really embodies discovery. So I'd like to extend a very warm welcome to Poonam Gupta, OBE.
Thank you, Andy.
Good afternoon, Poonam. How are you?
Good afternoon, Andy. I'm really well. How are you?
Yes, I'm doing fine. Thank you, Poonam. And we caught up earlier on in the week, and it was great to speak to you then. And I understand you're in the office today. Is that correct, Poonam?
Yes, I am in the office today. Some essential work needing done, so I had to come in.
Yeah, absolutely. And a very challenging time for everyone at the moment, and no doubt a challenging time for you and your business. So we're going to be going into some questions in a few moments. But first of all, Poonam, I would like to invite you to maybe give us a few minutes background to yourself, your journey from India to Scotland, and of course, building up the business that you currently have right now. So over to you, Poonam.
Thank you. Well, my name is Poonam Gupta and I'm the CEO of PG Paper Company Limited. I was born and brought up in Delhi in India, and I moved to Scotland in 2002. I ended up starting my business because I couldn't find a job here. Most of the jobs that I was looking for, I was told, kind of turned away, being told that I was either overqualified or I didn't have any experience in the UK. So I changed my focus and I thought, I'm not going to wait for somebody to offer me something. Let's see if I can create something and then invite other people on this journey with me. I played with a lot of ideas, and at the time, everybody was talking about recycling. With the deep research, the idea of paper at the time stuck. So I started my business basically after 10 months of hard work and research, having self-learning almost everything that I learned about how to do business in the UK, setting up my company. For the first 2 years, I did work by myself. I had a small grant by Business Gateway at the time. They gave me £1,000, with which I managed to buy some basic equipment, retweaked and tweaked my business idea to a point that today, 17 years on, PG Paper is a £56 million company, working in 60 countries with offices in 5 countries. Over the years, we've had our set of professional, and I've had my own personal challenges. And I'd like to say every challenge taught me something. A challenge and a problem is always for me an opportunity to learn something. And then, we basically replan to go forward. What's important for me is to keep an eye on my final goal that I have. So no matter how challenging the situation is, I always try to work my way through it to ensure that, the focus remains the same, which is to reach the goal that I have set out on. And that's how I lead my organization as well. Beside my company, I also take keen interest in community work and charities, because I simply believe that it's so important that businesses make their contribution towards a society which makes them successful. And we basically help create the, a positive environment for tomorrow and also perhaps role models of tomorrow. So I guess that's in short a little bit of my story. I'm sitting in my office today, just in Greenock, enjoying this good sunshine that I can see from my window. Sorry, Andy, I think you're on mute. I can't hear you at all.
There we go. That's my first technical glitch of the day. Hopefully you can hear me. Now, I didn't want to interrupt earlier on whilst you were giving us a fantastic overview of your journey to date. And when you came to Scotland all those years ago, you really had nothing to start off with, and you really set about building a fantastic business that you mentioned is now turning over £56 million. So it'd be really great to get an understanding on what drives you in business, Poonam.
What drives me in business is basically, obviously, the very fact that, I started from nothing and I have managed to build a business which, is now known by its name in 60 different countries. And it's a successful business. And also, I love to see my team, who are behind this business. I started on my own, but today there are more than 50 people who work for us around the world. And beyond that, the supply chain that works with us. What gives me great pleasure is when I also see the personal growth, not just mine, but also the people who are part of PG team. And I think, like I said before, an important part for me is to see, to give back to the society and the community. And it's not just my own time that is, I give away or things that I do, but it's also what my team brings to the table. So, my sales manager going out to the local schools and talking about entrepreneurship and how to be the leaders of tomorrow, that's hugely satisfying to me. And then the next challenge, what is it going to be? That is something that drives me.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic that there's real purpose in what you do, Poonam. It's not just about the business, but it's ensuring that you put back, and that's certainly something that the entrepreneurial network in Scotland really has at its heart as well. And as we know, this current time, this current crisis that we're in right now has placed many a challenge on many businesses. But over the years, I understand you've been putting some steps in place to really future-proof your business, and it's been able to be a little bit more resilient in these kind of market conditions. So if you could give me an insight into some of the things that you've done to help bring more resilience to your company.
So first of all, if you look around businesses, the businesses who perform well are generally, or go on a faster growth path, are the businesses which are international. So I think that's the first of it. My business works in so many different countries, and I think that gives it a certain resilience, because all the markets generally, except for of course today's times, do not perform the same at all times. On top of that, like 3-4 years ago, when we started deciding that, okay, we are going to expand our foreign offices, we had to change our systems. That particular investment at the time in changing our systems and keep making them more robust, ready for further growth, today has helped us in this Corona times as well for most of our people to work from home safely. And I think that is something that I'd say has given us quite a bit of, you'd say a pillow almost, that, it hasn't hit us so hard, that safety net that we needed.
Yeah, and that internationalization, the fact that you're across in many different marketplaces as well, being important to you, and of course, in business, competition is something that we all, I guess, expect. But you've got a particular approach to competition, haven't you, Poonam?
Well, yes. I mean, just like all other business, we kind of just keep an eye on what our competition is doing. But I always believe that, whatever we do, we have to do it to the best of our ability, which actually sets us apart from our competition. I do not, chase a competitor. I'd rather let a competitor chase me. So I always believe that, the only competition that we have is with ourselves. And we have to be better than what we were yesterday. That's how I compete, my organization competes in the market.
Yeah, and that competition can be good. So it can take your eye off the ball, but clearly you've got very high standards which you push yourself through to. And if you are your greatest competition, your expectations, that will really help to drive the business forward, and has clearly been a factor in your success to date. But one thing that really struck me when we spoke the other day, Poonam, is that you have this, a continual progress of learning, continuous development, continuous searching out. That spirit of discovery is very much alive in you. So it'd be great to get an insight into the approach that you take in terms of learning, in terms of discovering, and maybe some of the mentoring, the approaches to mentorship that you have as well.
When I started my business, for example, paper wasn't the first idea on the table. I had many other ideas on the table, which I did research through, but I also reached out to people, however I could get to them in the industry to find out what they thought of the idea. And I think that's where I believe their mentorship helped me to decide whether an idea was a good one or a bad one. And that's how I finally kind of got settled on paper. I believe that, learning is such an important part, of personal growth, whether it's myself and again, people who work for me in my organization, that is something so important for them. I have this insatiable need to learn, explore, discover. When I started paper, all I knew about paper was PAPER. And I had to actually learn everything on my own. So any new business that I look at, it gives me a chance to learn something. So any new opportunity that presents itself is actually an opportunity also to learn. The same way, every problem that presents itself gives me an opportunity to learn, just like the times we are in right now. So that's the approach I take to learning. I just have this need to learn. And I also say to people that, you must never stop. I never believe that you know it all, because nobody knows it all.
Yeah, and that's so important that you embark in your business with such an important open mind. It really clearly has helped to drive your business forward. And learning, I guess, it's not only learning in terms of where new opportunities might be for you to explore, but potentially some of the learning from some of the pitfalls and some of the challenges. Could you maybe give me an insight into some of those big learning moments that have came from events that haven't quite turned out the way that you expected?
Well, there would be so many of them if I take account of my last 17 years. But let's talk about the current situation. For example, we know that these are hard times. Some businesses are suffering more than the others. Some businesses are actually doing well, on the other side. So I guess, this is a time to look at, what is the situation currently, where multiple markets, I talked about it earlier, that an international business is in itself resilient to a point. But Corona has kind of changed that, because multiple markets have been affected simultaneously, which means our revenues have taken a hit. So, the learning experience has been from here, what are we going to do to ensure that, this doesn't happen again? And maybe this is the time to look at what other opportunities are there right now. So if one business is not doing so well at the moment, then, we are always busy with something else, kind of spreading your risk a little bit more is something that, I have really learned from this current situation that we are in.
Yeah, fantastic. And just on that particular point, Poonam, obviously, we hear about you giving back, that philanthropic approach that you have. And I guess as you look in how you grow your business and you learn more and you find out more about opportunities that you want to get involved in, I understand you're quite active in the investment marketplace. So it'd be great to get a little bit of an understanding on the kind of profile you look for, either in a management team, a business, an opportunity, or a market that interests you when it comes to investment.
Well, I have a really open mind regarding sectors. I kind of go across sectors. Again, kind of it's a part of my learning thing that, always something to learn there, even if I'm not interested in that particular investment. I mean, the basic is obviously the idea needs to make sense and it needs to be scalable. That's important. But I think what's even more important is the people behind that idea. Do they have it in them to take it to the level that it needs to go to? I think those are the two main things I look for. I do not mind if a business is in early stages or it's in growth stage or it's in maturity stage. I don't look at the stages as such. It just, these two things which matter to me a lot, the people behind it and the idea itself and whether it's scalable.
Yeah, that's a fantastic note and positive note to finish on. Poonam, 12 and a half minutes, we always say, goes incredibly quickly, but I think we really got a wonderful insight into the type of individual that you are and what you bring, that focus and that insatiable appetite for learning. I think if anyone takes anything away from today's interview, it's to be always embracing that spirit of discovery, always learning and trying to put that into practice in your business. Poonam, thank you so much indeed for spending some time with us this afternoon. And I hope that the business continues to go from strength to strength. 2 million turnover in your first year, 56 now, and the next stop for you is 200 million. Is that correct? Is that correct, Poonam?
Yes, that's correct.
Fantastic. Well, listen, Poonam, thank you so much indeed, and we hope to see you soon.
See you soon. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye now. Well, thank you so much indeed to Poonam Gupta, OBE, for giving us her time this afternoon, a real clear insight into one of Scotland's brightest entrepreneurs, and I'm sure we'll all be watching the future of her company going forward. Next week, we have another tremendous programme lined up with another wonderful guest, Dr. Deborah O'Neill, who is Chief Executive of Nova Biotics, and we understand that she is actively working on treatments looking at COVID-19. So it's going to be really interesting to speak to her and see how her progress is getting on. Thank you to everyone that's joined us, whether you're joining us on Facebook, LinkedIn or YouTube. Thank you so much for tuning in to the programme. Please do remember to like, comment and subscribe. And as it's a Friday, please do have a great weekend and please do stay safe. Thank you very much.